Now on CoastTV News.
Cruising into change. Weather shifts gears for endless summer cruising in Ocean City, shaping Sussex County Council to hear public input over the proposed Cool Spring Crossing massive housing development. Hope and high stakes, President Trump to join Middle East leaders for deal signing and hostage release effort.
Good Friday morning, Delmarva. It's a chilly start out there, seeing temperatures in the 30s and 40s. All eyes on the weekend as our impending coastal storm will bring heavy rain, high winds, and coastal flooding. The latest coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 6 o'clock hour. This morning we are going to be talking a lot about the significant weather impacts we are expecting for the weekend, from strong winds to heavy rain. First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono is going to join us. Chris, this weekend people need to make sure they secure all outdoor items and bring anything that can blow away inside.
Yeah, that's good advice, because we're going to be seeing those winds really pick up along the beaches as we go into the day on Sunday, as well as the threat of coastal flooding. Some major coastal flooding is going to be likely. We're at 46 right now in Cambridge, so it's our chilly, calm, and tranquil start to our Friday. In fact, the cool spot there, Harrington, coming in at 39, 41. It's the cool corridor there right along Route 13. A bit milder at the coast, where we're in the 50s and 60s. East wind, we're seeing a gust of 25 miles an hour there, Indian River Inlet, but we are calm and quiet throughout much of the East and Mid-Atlantic, all thanks to high pressure centered over the Northeast. But here is our coastal storm beginning to gather strength and get organized, and this is going to be pushing up the coast, and that moisture is going to be rolling into our area as early as Saturday evening. So we'll see partly sunny skies through the day today, a bit on the breezy side, especially at the beaches. We'll see gusts upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour, but a pleasant Friday will give way to a cloudy Saturday. Most of the day Saturday is dry. We'll see rain roll in late Saturday through Monday. Could even linger into Tuesday, and significant impacts are likely with heavy rain, high winds, coastal flooding, and beach erosion is going to be likely as we go into the day on Sunday through early next week. We're going to be talking about upwards of potentially 4 to 5 inches of rain, as well as that threat of up to 60-mile-an-hour gusts at the beaches. We'll talk more about that, as well as that threat for major coastal flooding coming up in my full forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. In our top story this half hour, some changes for the Endless Summer Cruising event this weekend. Organizers say they are moving all of Sunday's events to Saturday due to the expected bad weather that Chris just mentioned. Now the grand finale awards are set for 4:30 Saturday at the inlet. According to the Ocean City Police Department, a special event zone is in effect, meaning lower speed limits and higher fines for traffic violations. So if you're heading to Ocean City, make sure you slow down. In development news, Sussex County Council is holding a public hearing on November 4th for the Cool Spring Crossing project. At 10 a.m., the council will meet and the public hearing will begin at noon. The development would be located off of Route 9. According to its plans, it would cover 637 acres and have 1,922 housing units. Despite concerns from locals, $250 million in investments from DelDOT is estimated for infrastructure management. Over 114 acres of trees and 100% of natural resources at the property's boundary will be protected. In May of 2025, CoastTV reported that opposition also came from the Sussex Preservation Coalition.
The last thing we need is 1,900 more houses. It's hard to get a medical appointment, and it's hard to go anywhere.
You expect growth. This area is not going to be like it was in 1978 when I was here. It was, again, we called it LSD, Lower Slower Delaware. You can expect that to go. It ain't coming back no more.
If approved, the project would be one of the largest developments in Sussex County. New this morning, state leaders are set to announce the latest round of farmland preservation agreements protecting thousands of acres. Happening today at 2:30, Delaware Secretary of Agriculture Don Clifton will join state leaders in Laurel to announce the 29th round of easement purchases through the Delaware Aglands Preservation Foundation. Organizers say this year's selections include 36 new easements across the state, preserving more than 2,800 acres of farmland at a cost of nearly $15 million. The announcement coincides with National Farmers Day on Sunday. In Ocean City, town leaders are preparing for hydrant flushing, according to an announcement. The Public Works Department will begin the project on October 19th. The project will move from south to north, starting at South 1st Street. Town leaders say work takes place in the late evening to early morning, with an expected completion date of October 23rd. In Lewis, the city is asking locals to remove items from the dunes and beaches by October 13th. All chairs, dock boxes, kayaks, boats, and more are expected to be moved, according to city officials. Anything left over after that deadline will be removed by city staff and taken to the Schley Avenue maintenance yard. The maintenance department will assist with item pickup, but anything not picked up before October 31st will be thrown out. As celebrations grow in the Middle East, President Trump is planning to travel to the region for the peace deal signing and the long-awaited release of remaining hostages expected to return to their families early next week. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the news is bringing rare moments of bipartisanship on Capitol Hill.
Smoke still rising over Gaza early this morning in the final hours before a ceasefire takes hold. Palestinians and Israelis already celebrating after the Israeli government approved the first phase of a peace deal Hamas already agreed to and President Trump advanced.
I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace.
The president planning to travel to Egypt this weekend for a formal signing and the return of the remaining hostages, 20 believed to still be alive after 2 years in Hamas captivity.
They should be released on Monday or Tuesday. Getting them is a complicated process.
And there are even more complicated steps ahead, including a requirement for Hamas to disarm and leave power, still an open question.
They got to be written out of the future of Palestine. Just keep our fingers crossed.
Cautious optimism on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers in both parties gave credit to President Trump.
What we need is bipartisan support for the peace process, which will be fraught with obstacles, make no mistake.
The biggest challenge, how to bring Gaza back from the ruins and secure a peaceful future. President Trump adamant no one will be forced to leave and that neighboring nations will help rebuild.
We're going to create something where people can live. You can't live right now in Gaza.
The U.S. military preparing options to send as many as 200 troops to Israel to ensure stability and the flow of aid into Gaza, according to 2 U.S. officials familiar with the planning, who noted there will be no American boots on the ground in Gaza. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, people who live in Greenwood are getting a reminder about property taxes. Town officials say there's an important opportunity coming up for anyone who wants to appeal their new property assessment. Any appeals for new tax assessment property values will be heard during the November 12th meeting at the Greenwood VFW. In Georgetown, planners want input from people living in the town on the future of the downtown area. A development survey is still open for people to submit their ideas. Town officials say this is to help develop growth, improvements, and other opportunities for plans. The last day to fill out that survey is October 15th. And we're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, lowering speed limits. We'll tell you why some locals are pushing for the change and why others are voicing opposition. And keeping watch along the coast, we'll tell you where new security cameras could be put in Rehoboth Beach. And last days at the diner, we'll tell you when a Lewis restaurant will close its doors for good. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Good Friday morning, Delmarva. Hope your morning is off to a great start. It's a chilly start for some of us. We're at 46 in Cambridge, seeing clear skies there and relatively calm winds. It's pretty cool along our Route 13 corridor here. 39 in Harrington, 41 Bridgeville, 46 in Delmar. A bit milder at the coast with that wind coming off the Atlantic. 60 in Rehoboth to 60 in Ocean City. Winds are pretty calm west of Coastal Highway, but you can see some gusts upwards of 15 to 20 miles an hour. And it was a warm start to the week. We had temperatures in the low 80s, average high is 72. We had a brief cool down there, and now we have the cool fall-like air here, 65 yesterday, and we're going to be right around that this afternoon as high pressure continues to influence our weather, at least for the day today, but that's going to be changing as we roll into the weekend. So a pleasant day, partly sunny skies. We'll see a bit of clouds increase through the afternoon. Mid to high level clouds, winds gusting upwards of 20-25 miles an hour at the coast today, but those winds are going to be gusting and turning quite windy through the weekend. We'll talk more about that as well as our significant coastal storm that's going to be impacting us Sunday. I'll have more on that coming up a little bit later on. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. For those in the Lewis area, on your screen now is where DelDOT says they will be closing lanes on Robinsonville Road between Webb's Landing Road and Harts Road. The department says the milling and paving operations will start on October 20th and is expected to continue until November 7th. According to DelDOT, drivers can expect minor delays during the work hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Lewis Diner and Pizzeria on Savannah Road is closing up shop on October 19th. The company made the announcement on Facebook this week. After a decade of creating memories during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the company says they are sad to announce the closing. The federal government is shut down, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics is calling some staff back to work. They're preparing the Consumer Price Index report, a closely watched inflation gauge that impacts Social Security recipients. The latest CPI data was previously scheduled for release next week. Now, a Trump administration official says the data will be published before November 1st because it's needed to calculate 2026 Social Security payments. The IRS is making changes that the agency says will affect your federal taxes this and next year. The tax return line item updates are based on the effects of inflation, but also due to provisions in the new tax law enacted in July. How the adjustments affect you has everything to do with what deductions you take and what your taxable income will be. But tax experts say many taxpayers will see some modest relief in their taxes because the deductions will lessen the impact of inflation.
Well, cool, crisp start to our Friday here on Delmarva with temperatures in the 40s. We'll see sunshine, mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon, a bit breezy at the coast as well, but all eyes focus on our coastal storm over the weekend. The latest impacts and what we can expect to see right after the break.
The time is now 6:16 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. And Chris, it's still as dark outside. That sun is coming up much later in the morning now. Yeah. It's definitely feeling like fall out there though. 48 degrees. My car said this morning you need a jacket.
Oh yeah, it's a cold start, and even some of us are in the upper 30s, lower 40s away from the coast, and not seeing any frost out there this morning, but we are seeing some pretty cold temperatures. 39 Harrington, 42 Bridgeville, 42 Redden. We're at 49 in Georgetown, but with that wind coming off the ocean, you see we're quite mild at the coast with temperatures around 60 degrees. Wind gusts anywhere between about 15 to 20 miles an hour, so it's going to be a breezy afternoon with that push of east wind. Coastal flood watch in effect for all of Sussex County for the coast. That goes up into effect Sunday morning and runs through Monday night. Storm watch is up all the way up through the Delmarva coast through Monday night as well. High wind watch. This goes into effect Sunday morning and runs through Monday morning with that threat of wind gusts upwards of 40 to 60 miles an hour. So we are under the influence of high pressure, the clockwise flow giving us that east wind. We're dry, and here's our coastal storm taking shape along the southeast coast. This moisture is going to begin working northward throughout the weekend, at least for the first part of the weekend. Partly cloudy skies there in Laurel, 45, and we'll see a mix of sun and clouds through the morning with a temperature of 60 by around 10 a.m. On our way to highs, once again, mid to upper 60s. We'll see a bit more clouds through the afternoon with that east wind, mid to high level clouds rolling in, but we will stay dry. So really nice evening for football, cool, calm, and pleasant. And we're looking mostly dry for Saturday as well. It's Saturday evening. We begin to see that moisture begin to work into the region from south to north, and that rain will only begin to pick up in intensity as we go into Sunday. So winds today, not all that bad. Gusts upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. Those winds pick up as we go into Saturday night, gusting upwards of 30, 35, and it's going to be downright windy as we go into the day on Sunday. That is when we expect the brunt of this coastal storm to impact Delmarva, especially the Delaware coast by Sunday afternoon. The rain, wind-driven rain, wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour. Major coastal flooding is likely as this system tracks just to our east. Now, some models have the storm coming Offshore on Delmarva, most of the models have this area low pressure just off the coast. The Euro model a little weaker, a little further to the east, but the GFS coming in a bit stronger at this hour, more tucked in. Regardless, we're going to see a lot of push of water along the coast and a lot of wind action. Rainfall totals on the order of 2 to 4 inches, could see locally higher amounts. The highest winds we expect right along the beaches, so we could see down trees. Power outages during the height of the storm. Major coastal flooding is now likely, with waves up to 8 to 13 feet, up to 2 foot of inundation in those low-lying areas. So we'll continue to fine-tune the forecast over the next day. Red alert in play on Sunday for the high winds, the heavy rain, and the coastal flooding. Yellow alert Monday, and then we finally dry out by Tuesday afternoon. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Rehoboth Beach recently installed fixed live stream cameras in key public locations. That includes at the roundabout on Rehoboth Avenue and several intersections on Rehoboth Ave. City officials tell us the live stream cameras are not always rolling and will be used only to review incidents after approval from Delaware State Police. Some people we spoke with say they think this is a step forward for public safety in the city.
I think they're great for public safety. So, you know, more that they can put in, as long as you've got controls around it, and the way that the way the images are controlled and deleted after a certain period of time, I don't have a problem with them.
The city has 12 cameras in total. 4 are license plate readers and 8 are live stream cameras. New this morning, focus on flood mitigation. That's on the agenda at the South Bethany Town Council meeting. Town leaders could vote to award a bid for projects that would focus on York Road. Also on the agenda, possible vote on budget amendments. South Bethany Town leaders will gather in just a few hours at 9 a.m.
Fall festivities are filling up the weekend calendar, so stay tuned for your cool things to do.
A Sussex County beach town could slow things down. The South Bethany Safety Committee is asking the council to drop speed limits on all town streets to 15 miles per hour. Most neighborhood roads now have speed limits between 20 and 25 miles per hour. Supporters say a lower speed limit makes narrow canal streets safer for walkers and cyclists, especially in the summer months. But critics worry it will add to weekend backups.
I guess traffic, and traffic is really a mess. And we learned to don't go out on a weekend, July and August, and if it's raining, forget it.
The Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee says the change could cut close calls on narrow streets. If approved, new signs and enforcement would follow. But for now, the South Bethany Council plans to weigh the proposal and public feedback before any vote. Happening today in Lewis. Lewis is bringing experts and locals together to focus on healthy aging in coastal Sussex. Village volunteers in the Lewis Public Library will host a new panel series, Thriving Together, Empowered Aging, Enriching Community. The first session, focused on health and wellness, takes place today at 9 a.m. to noon at the Lewis Public Library. We'll get your outdoor time and your beach walks in today and early Saturday, because Chris is going to tell us this weekend you're not going to want to be outside after Saturday evening.
Yeah, unfortunately, conditions are really going to deteriorate, especially along the coast as we go into the second half of the weekend, as far as heavy rain, wind, and really coastal flooding is going to be a major issue as we go into early next week. Partly cloudy skies here in Lewis. Sunrise at 7:06, 57 degrees there, and we'll see a mix of sun and clouds through the morning throughout Ocean City, Fenwick Island. Highs today in the lower 60s, high risk of rip currents, so keep that in mind. And that high risk of rip currents is going to be right through the weekend and into early next week. We're going to be seeing some dangerous surf as we go into the day on Sunday. Lewis, temperatures mid to upper 60s this afternoon under partly sunny skies. We'll see a few mid and high level clouds roll in through the afternoon. Cambridge, 63 by around your lunchtime, 64 by around 5. Chrisfield, 64 by around 5 p.m. Looking very nice for high school football games this evening as well. Anthony Delaney, Lewis, Delaware. You're the winner of our Coast TV weather umbrella, and you can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. I'll have the latest on our coastal storm as far as how much rain, how high the winds are expected to be, and the latest on that coastal flooding impact coming up in the next half hour.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, grab your jacket and your appetite, because fall fun is in full swing from Bridgeville to Ocean City this weekend. Coast TV's Christina DeRobertis has your cool things to do.
Well, just because the summer crowds have cleared, that doesn't mean the coast is quiet. There's a lot to choose from this weekend in both Delaware and Maryland, and we're going to kick things off with a taste of tradition at the Apple Scrapple Festival in Bridgeville. It's a Friday and Saturday event, and you can enjoy carnival rides, a car show, the Scrapple Sling, and of course plenty of delicious food. Step up for a good cause at the annual Boardwalk Buddy Walk Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon. Family and friends will come together to celebrate and support people with Down syndrome along the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk. You can get your pumpkin fix at Dogfish Head's Pumpkin Ale Fest from 11 to 4 on Saturday. Enjoy seasonal brews, live music, plus you can even bring your pet to the event. Sunday is all about the hounds. Parade down the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk starting at 10 a.m. to celebrate retired racing greyhounds and learn about adoption awareness. In Maryland, Harbor Day at the Docks celebrates the state's maritime history with live music, crab cake contests, Coast Guard boat tours, and plenty of family-friendly fun. That's from 10 to 3 along Sunset Avenue on Saturday. And engines will be roaring in Ocean City as one of the last big events of the season rolls into town. The 28th annual Endless Summer Cruisin' is underway, bringing hundreds of classic cars, vendors, and live music to Ocean City. You can find all event details, tickets, and more over on CoastTV.com. All you have to do is click on Cool Things to Do.
Now on Coast TV News.
Cruising into change. Weather shifts gears for endless summer cruising in Ocean City, shaping Sussex County Council to hear public input over the proposed Cool Spring Crossing massive housing development. Hope and high stakes, President Trump to join Middle East leaders for deal signing and hostage release effort.
Good Friday morning, Delmarva. It's a chilly start out there, seeing temperatures in the 30s and 40s. All eyes on the weekend as our impending coastal storm will bring heavy rain, high winds, and coastal flooding. The latest coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us. It is Friday and it is 6:30. We're going to talk a little bit about this weather this morning. If you're walking outside early, make sure you have a jacket because my car said it was 48 degrees. But Chris, in some areas, 48 degrees was actually warm this morning.
Yeah, in fact, some areas were actually in the upper 30s away from the coast this morning, right along Route 13. A bit milder at the coast with that wind coming off the ocean. As we take a live look into Lewis, partly cloudy skies there. We're at 57 degrees, dew point 45. So yes, you could feel that fall chill in the air. But look at this. We're at 43 Milford, 39 in Harrington, 43 Bridgeville to 49 in Georgetown. See the winds coming off the ocean, anywhere gusting about 21 miles an hour there, Indian River Inlet, 17 in Bethany Beach. So we're dry right now. We are going to see a few more clouds roll in off the Atlantic today, all thanks to an easterly flow. But our coastal storm is beginning to take shape along the southeast coast here. You can see a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, and this area of low pressure is going to be pushing up the coast over the weekend. So as far as we start the day today, chilly and sunny, mix of sun and clouds, 45 by the afternoon. Partly sunny, mostly cloudy afternoon, 65 degrees. It'll be a bit breezy at the coast with those winds upwards of 20 miles an hour. So by the weekend, we expect that coastal storm to arrive late Saturday, even linger into potentially Tuesday with the brunt of the storm Sunday afternoon through Sunday evening. Significant impacts are likely in the form of heavy rain, wind gusts as high as 60 miles an hour, particularly at the beaches. Major coastal flooding is likely, as well as beach erosion. We'll talk more in depth about that in the full 7-day forecast a little later on. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this half hour, some changes for the Endless Summer cruising event in Ocean City this weekend. Organizers say they are moving all of Sunday's events to Saturday due to the expected bad weather. Now the grand finale awards are set for 4:30 Saturday at the inlet. According to the Ocean City Police Department, a special event zone is in effect, meaning lower speed limits and higher fines for traffic violations. So if you're heading that way, make sure you slow down. In development news, Sussex County Council is holding a public hearing on November 4th for the Cool Spring Crossing project. At 10 a.m., the council will meet and then the public hearing will begin at noon. The development would be located off of Route 9. According to the plans, it would cover 637 acres and 1,922 housing units. Despite concerns from locals, $250 million in investments from DelDOT is estimated for infrastructure management. Over 114 acres of trees and 100% of natural resources at the property's boundary, will be protected. In May of 2025, CoastTV reported that concerns also came from the Sussex Preservation Coalition. New this morning, Maryland is investing millions to expand access to affordable housing across the state. The Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development has announced $36.8 million in federal and state funding for 13 housing projects. The money will help create or preserve more than 1,200 affordable units that are also energy efficient. Under the state's 2025 Qualified Allocation Plan, part of the funding will go towards permanent supportive housing, including units for people experiencing homelessness. In Delaware, state leaders are set to announce the latest round of farmland preservation agreements protecting thousands of acres. Happening today at 2:30, Delaware Secretary of Agriculture Don Clifton will join state leaders in Laurel to announce the 29th round of easement purchases through the Delaware Aglands Preservation Foundation. Organizers say this year's selection includes 36 new easements across Delaware, preserving more than 2,800 acres of farmland at a cost of nearly $15 million. The announcement coincides with National Farmers Day on Sunday. In Lewis, the city is asking locals to remove items from the dunes and beaches by October 13th. All chairs, dock boxes, kayaks, boats, and more are to be moved according to city officials. Anything left over after that deadline will be removed by city staff and taken to the Schley Avenue Maintenance Yard. The maintenance department will assist with item pickup, but anything not picked up before October 31st will be thrown out. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. after President Trump publicly called for his Justice Department appointees to bring charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James. Charges are now a reality. New overnight, New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted by a federal grand jury on one count of bank fraud. The indictment comes 2 weeks after former FBI Director James Comey was indicted on 2 charges stemming from congressional testimony he gave in 2020. Amy Kiley shows us more on the latest indictment of a top government official.
His only goal is political retribution at any cost.
You have an attorney general who's a total stone-cold crook.
President Donald Trump is getting his wish for the indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James. He openly derides her for winning a civil case against him that he's appealing.
I did absolutely nothing wrong.
Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud.
Now James is charged with 2 felonies, bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. The indictment alleges she got favorable mortgage terms by calling a home her secondary residence. It accuses her of renting out the property instead of living there herself.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. There is no small crime.
I think it's very unlikely she'll be convicted.
Sources say a then DOJ prosecutor who investigated a similar matter found insufficient evidence to pursue a case. He's out of a job after resisting Trump's pressure to charge James. The indictment contains no signatures from any career DOJ prosecutors, just Trump's former personal attorney.
Here you have a demanded prosecution and one that the career people in the Eastern District of Virginia thought was an unworthy case.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The U.S. military is preparing options for as many as 200 troops to be deployed to Israel to support the International Stabilization Force. According to U.S. officials familiar with planning, the ISF will act as the long-term internal security solution for Gaza and will help support humanitarian and security assistance in the area. U.S. troops will stay in Israel, and officials say it will not step foot in Gaza, but will support logistics, transportation, engineering, and planning from Israel. In Georgetown, planners want input from people living in the town on the future of the downtown area. A development survey is still open for people to submit their ideas. Town officials say this is to help develop growth, improvements, and other opportunity plans. The last day to fill out that survey is October 15th. And we're just getting started in this final half hour of Coast TV News today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, Underground Railroad conductors recognized. We'll show you the newest historical marker in Delaware, recognizing 2 vital members of that fight to freedom. And it was a bad night for Phillies pro teams. We'll recap the Phillies and Eagles losses. Plus, we'll hear from the Philadelphia manager, Rob Thompson. And sitting on a major issue, we'll tell you how the director of a shelter in Salisbury is raising awareness for homelessness by sitting down. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Well, I hope your Friday morning is off to a fantastic start. It is a chilly, dry start on Delmarva. Sunrise at 7:06 this morning. You can see the high clouds there out of our cam in Laurel. 45 degrees. Winds are calm there. Temperatures are going to be rising to about 54 by around 9 a.m. under partly sunny skies. There's our chilly corridor along Route 13 there. Temperatures upper 30s, low 40s, milder along the coast, and winds gusts anywhere between about 17 to 20, and it will be a breezy afternoon at the beaches under partly sunny skies. Still under the influence of high pressure, but that's going to be changing as we roll into the weekend. We're tracking that coastal storm, and rain chances are really going to be ramping up Saturday night, Sunday and Monday, and potentially even into Tuesday morning. We'll talk more about our coastal storm and the significant impacts we will be seeing coming up a little bit later on the newscast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Happening today, securing your kids in their car seats. Tidal Health will hold a car seat check. Experts will help make sure those car seats are installed correctly. Organizers say this will take place from 3 to 6 p.m. at Crossroad Community Church in Georgetown. A nationwide initiative to raise awareness for the homeless is happening right now in Salisbury. J. Anthony Dickerson is the executive director for the Christian shelter. He's helping raise awareness by sitting on a bench 24 hours straight. He says he will talk with local leaders about potential solutions, but he also wants to give people an idea of what homeless people face every day.
This is their life. You know, some people are sitting on the bench and they have everything they own in life. And that has to be traumatic for them. All alone, nobody to talk to, nobody listen to them. So man, this is a big issue.
Dickerson says today he plans on talking with some of the homeless people in the area in Salisbury so he can listen to and share their stories. Leaf collection season is underway in Cambridge. According to the city, you must use 30-gallon trash bags. People are asked to call the Department of Public Works to be placed on the list for pickup. Collection will take place Monday in wards 1 through 3 and Tuesdays in wards 4 and 5.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What a way for the Phillies season to come to a close in a winner-go-home Game 4. Philadelphia went to extra innings, tied 1-1 in the 11th. The Dodgers loaded the bases, and then this happened. LA's Andy Pages was 1 for 23 in the postseason, grounds it to the mound, and Orion Kerkering airmails the throw home. That's the game. That's the season. It ends on an error. Here's what Phillies manager Rob Thompson said he told Kerkering after the game.
Just to keep his head up. You know, he just got caught up in the moment a little bit. You know, coming down the stretch there, he pitched so well for us, and it's you know, I feel for him because he's putting it all on his shoulders. But we win as a team and we lose as a team. So.
And last night's football action wasn't any better for Philly sports fans. The Eagles trailed the Giants the whole second half, and it went from bad to worse when Jalen Hurts threw an interception to Cordale Flott. He returned that pick 68 yards, and that set up the rookie running back Cam Scadaboo for his third touchdown. This one, the dagger. The Giants won 34-17, and that's it for sports, folks. Have a great Friday.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 5 o'clock, it's Down and Distance. Then at 5:30, tune in for Scoops and Scores. Your game of the night at 6 o'clock, Snow Hill visits Colonel Richardson in high school football. Then at 9:30, you can watch 1CW Pro Wrestling. At 10:30, it's Nittany Game Week. And at 11, you can catch the final score. Along with that Snow Hill game of the night, here's some other DSN Plus exclusives. At 6 o'clock, UMES hosts Coppin State in women's volleyball. Also at 6, Cambridge South Dorchester faces Kent County in football. At 7, First State Military Academy takes on Seaford in football. And also at 7, Cape Henlopen battles Smyrna in football. And get ready for another week in the NFL regular season. We have your Sunday Night Football right here on Coast TV. This week you can catch the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. Coverage begins right here at 7. Then stay tuned for Coast TV News following the game. If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Happy Friday, Delmarva, and we are hoping that you join us today at 4 on Coast Life because we're going to be hanging out at the Milton Theater all afternoon because they got a lot going on. We're talking Zombie Fest. We are talking Rocky Horror Show. We're even going to be talking about the Horror Trailer Challenge and how you can still submit something and when you can check all of that out. So it's going to be tons of fun today at 4. We will see you then on Coast Life.
It'll be a cool, cloudy, mostly cloudy Friday here on Delmarva. Overall, a pleasant day, but all eyes are on the weekend as we await a powerful coastal storm that will bring rain, wind, and major coastal flooding to Delmarva. I'll break down my latest forecast after the break.
The time is now 6:48 and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning and we see the sun starting to wake up. It's about time, Chris, and enjoy that sunshine today and most of the day on Saturday because Sunday is not going to be sunny.
No, not at all. In fact, we're going to really see conditions start to deteriorate Saturday night, and we're seeing quite a range in temperature, all depending upon where you're at. You're 39 in Harrington, 44 Bridgeville, but we're 60 in Rehoboth. We've seen clear skies further to the west and calmer winds, and that allows for the temperature to fall. We've been dealing with winds coming off the ocean here throughout the morning along the coast, and it will be a breezy morning and afternoon with winds gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. So we have a ton of advisories and watches along the coast. We have a coastal flood watch. This goes into effect Sunday morning through Monday night. We have the storm watches up for the entire Delmarva coast, a high wind watch for Sussex County. This goes into effect Sunday morning and runs through Monday morning. That's for that threat of 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts, particularly at the beaches. Now, as we take a look, high pressure centered over the northeast, clockwise flow. We'll see more of an easterly wind today off the ocean. Here is our coastal storm beginning to gather strength and organize itself, and all of this will advance eastward and northeast as we go into the weekend. We're at 45 right now in Laurel under partly cloudy skies, partly sunny through the afternoon with temperature right around 60 by around 10. On our way to highs, once again, mid to upper 60s, and we're looking very nice for football this evening. If you're making your way out to any high school games, a cool, crisp night, cloudy skies through the overnight, overcast skies on Saturday, as we see that moisture begin to build in after about dinner time, and then conditions are really going to begin to deteriorate as we go into the day on Sunday. So winds today, 20, 25 miles an hour at the coast. Turns quite breezy tomorrow afternoon, 25 to 35, and then the winds are really going to begin picking up as we go into the day on Sunday out of the northeast. So the wind-driven rain as we go into Sunday afternoon through Sunday evening. Wind gusts as high as 60 miles an hour at the beach with major coastal flooding likely as this area of low pressure tracks just to our east. Some models actually bring the storm ashore. Some of the models actually have the storm a bit further to the east. Bit further to the east, we'll see lesser impacts. The closer it's tucked into the coast, we'll be seeing higher impacts as far as rain and wind. And you can see the GFS here, the American model, has a tighter solution here closer to the coast, and we'll see some heavier rains there. On average, looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain with locally higher amounts through Tuesday. Highest winds 50 to 60 miles an hour along the beaches. So we could see power outages and some down trees and power lines through the height of the storm. The other major concern is the threat for major coastal flooding. Strong northeast winds, as well as those waves up to 8 to 13 feet. Could be seeing up to 2 foot of inundation in those low-lying areas, so make preparations now if you live in a flood-prone area. Red alert there on Sunday as we deal with this coastal storm. Yellow alert through Monday, and then we'll see a few morning showers Tuesday before skies clear by the afternoon. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Across Delmarva, a new historical marker in Camden honors the legacy of 2 Kent County brothers who played a vital role in Delaware's Underground Railroad. William and Nathaniel Brinkley, 2 free African-American men, helped guide hundreds of enslaved people, including Harriet Tubman, to freedom. According to the Delaware Public Archives, the new historical marker sits outside Caesar Rodney High School on land that was once part of Brinkley Hill. Descendants of the Brinkley family say it's a way to remember the past and inspire future generations.
Can come here and read and see with Nathaniel and William. Like, it wasn't only Harriet Tubman
Yes, she's, you know, her name is great, but there was a little people who came along the way and helped.
And the Delaware Public Archive says it has more than 700 historical markers across the state. The time is now 6:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pet of the day is coming to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. On your screen right now is Lexi. Lexi is a sweet and affectionate kitty. She likes to crawl on laps and just make herself comfortable. If you want to adopt Lexi or Chubb, who we showed you in our previous hour, or any other lovable pet, you can head to the Brandywine Valley SPCA. And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen, and submit your furry friend to Coast TV News. Then, of course, watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. It is 6:56, and we are going to take a quick look at your forecast before you head out the door. Chris, it is a very fall Friday, but people really need to keep in mind the weather change Saturday evening into Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to be dealing with a powerful coastal storm that's going to be bringing heavy rain, wind, and coastal flooding to Delmarva beginning Saturday night. So as far as your day is concerned today, uneventful. We're going to be very nice. Mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon. Highs in the mid-60s. It'll be a bit breezy at the coast. Now, most of tomorrow is dry. We'll see showers roll in late in the day, early evening time frame from south to north, and then conditions really go downhill Sunday with rain, wind, and those gusts as high as 60 miles an hour at the beaches. We have a red alert in play for Sunday. Going to be dealing with major coastal flooding with that push of northeast wind, as well as the wave action, expecting waves anywhere between about 8 to 13 feet during the height of the storm. And we're still going to see rain and wind into Monday with gusts upwards of 30 to 50 miles an hour, and a few lingering showers into Tuesday, depending upon how quickly the area of low pressure pulls out to the east. But we're all looking drier through Wednesday, and actually a pretty nice, pleasant stretch of weather the rest of next week, with temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today. The Today Show is coming up next at 7, and we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11 a.m. And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Friday morning.